Thank you guys for coming back to another episode of Cobra TV. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the NPCs. I decided to make this video while in the middle of making the subcast video because I realized we really haven't discussed the NPCs too well in detail yet. It was more of like a, yay, there's NPCs in the game when we found out, and that was pretty much it. But there's an article on PlayStationLifestyle.net that actually gives just a little bit more information. Not really. It just talks about it a little bit more. And the author in the article states that while playing the game, he was treated with something that we've never seen in No Man's Sky before, an alien NPC. This particular race was from a race called the Korvax, one of three distinct races, including the Gek and another as of yet unnamed race. Instead of each individual being a unique character that you can build an individual relationship with, which would break the feel of the game, NPCs represent their entire race, and your words and actions will affect your standing with them across the universe. The article goes on to read, "We were actually trying to make that kind of stuff work," Sean tells me, when I ask him how long there had been NPC characters in the game. Sean Murray goes on to say it added a lot to the game, but for a long time it did not quite fit. It didn't quite mesh well. Then the article goes on to say, the aliens each have a distinct language that you will need to learn in order to better converse and increase your standing with them. Much like the resource gathering, this can be done in a few ways. From talking with the NPCs and trying to get them to teach you the dialect, to finding monoliths that reveal translations from some words. Sean Murray then says it's actually been things like learning the alien language and them speaking to you in alien. Getting that to work well and have a standing with each of the races has kind of made it mesh with the game a lot better. Sean says as he explains his hesitations with revealing this feature before now. It goes on to say, for me, what it does is give a sense of scale to the game. Maybe this is just me, but there's something really nice about being in a space station, talking to a guy, and then getting in a ship and flying out and turning around, and now that space station is a little tiny dot in the distance, and that dot, you know, there's a little window, and there's a little guy staring out of that window. And it just gives the whole thing scale, right? Sean Murray's words. I don't know, the way this guy explains the game is just pretty cool. I mean, you know, one of the things we haven't seen is inside the space station, you know, we're going to see aliens and NPCs getting out of those ships. You're going to be able to walk around and talk with them. Who knows what else? But the article goes on to say the alien characters also provide a deeper incentive to explore. Building a relationship with an entire race may help you improve your tech or provide other benefits that will help you in your journey. And while there's a general goal of reaching the center, the team stressed that it's not a game where you're going to be pushed into any one way of playing in order to do things. What's really interesting about the article is the giant speculation that I have, and I call it giant because it's a big leap. One of the things is we've seen the Korvax before, so that much is set in fact. And but he's using pictures here for a story, and they're very specific. He's talking about the Korvax and the monoliths, and he's got a picture of the monolith, and then on down when he starts talking about the NPCs, he has a picture that I speculated a while ago that I believe may be the Gek traders. I never explained myself why I thought that. So if we take a look at some of the alien creatures here, yes, it looks amazing. It looks really cool. But if you take a look at some of these alien creatures, what makes these things that I think are the Gek stand out so much is how detailed they are in the face. There is another article that I thought was pretty funny. The guy was probably writing it from memory rather than writing things down as he was playing the game, but another journalist says, in our 30 minutes of gameplay, which was isolated to a single solar system of trillions in the game, we visited 2 planets and met 2 different races, a coincidence that was almost absurdly created for a press demonstration. One, the Korath, looked like the lead character from Dead Space. The other, the Gez, are short, two-legged walking birds with huge beaks. That part made me giggle a little bit. But he also says there are a bunch of different alien races in the game, Murray said. They have their own lore. Some of them perhaps have a military slant or a scientific slant. But if you take a look at a couple other things, like the comic book that Dave Gibbons is writing, they have very, very big similarities in the structure of the face, the horns or whatever on the side, and the horns on the top that goes towards the back. The only differences are the fingers and the fact that the ones we see in the gameplay aren't wearing any spacesuits or anything, which leads me to believe that I could very well be wrong. But during March was not the first time we seen this creature. The first time we seen the creature was at the Colbert Show and the New Yorker Festival. What's really weird is that the people that played the game in the star system where Bellari 5 was ran into the Gek NPC and described it as a bird-like character with a beak and blah blah blah. But during the Colbert Show, they were at a different star system on a planet called Loik. One of those same bird-like creatures is actually doing something very strange to his arm. Looks like he's chewing it off. But as he's sitting there, a ship flies by in the sky and he turns back and he just stares at it. Like it really grabbed his attention. And then he turns around, walks up to where the other one is, regroups with him, and then they just walk off together. But again, I could be wrong. We'll find out next month for sure. So the way it looks to me, it looks like each NPC kind of represents the way you could play Trader, Fighter, and Explorer. Now we know there's a scientific in there, and Sean Murray even says something about a scientific ship, but then says, so an Explorer.
So this ship is kind of more scientific.
Yeah, I don't see any crazy cannons or lasers on that bad boy.
So this is more for somebody who would be an explorer. Mm-hmm. Right.
So scientific ship falls into the Explorer class. So if that's the case, then the Korvax, even though are scientists, fall into the Explorer class, and then the Gex fall into the Trader class. And then we have the last NPC race that really has not been confirmed, the Fighter, the combat race. And if you look on the screen, this was shown during Dave Gibbons' art direction video. And out of speculation, a lot of people think that this could be the combat race. And a subscriber asked me one time, are we going to see them out and about? I think the answer is yes, because Sean Murray said when you land at a space station, he said that you'll see aliens getting out of their ships. So unless those are separate from the main distinct NPCs, then the answer is yes. But what faction, guys, are you going to side with? The Korvax, the only confirmed NPC that we've seen so far, the Gek, which we may or may not have seen, or the combat race? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming by. I will see you guys on explorenms.com and in the next video. Until next time.